It's Christmas Eve, and I can already feel the tension building in my chest, that familiar ache of anticipation that nothing will ever change. Every year, without fail, we do this dance. The tree sits in the corner of the living room, adorned, with the same silver tinsel and cheap ornaments that have barely survived the last decade. The lights flicker, but it's not the kind of flicker that sparks warmth. It's more like the kind of flicker that makes you feel like you're trapped in some sort of loop, one where nothing ever shifts, and you just keep watching the same thing over and over. My parents, who seem to have settled into their own rhythm of indifference, sit at the dining table chattering about nothing. My brother Josh sprawls on the couch, scrolling through his phone as usual. His laugh rings out loud and careless, and I find myself wondering, how does he never feel like a fraud in this family? How does he get away with acting like everything's fine when it's not? I know what's coming. The socks. I always get socks. Plain, gray, functional socks. The kind you'd give a stranger or someone you didn't care about enough to put effort into. Meanwhile, Josh will open some brand new gadget, something expensive and high-tech, and my parents will beam at him like he's their golden child. They'll talk about how proud they are of him, how much he's accomplished this year. They'll ask about his latest job interview or the new investment opportunity he's been looking into. They'll gush about him, and I'll smile along. A perfect picture of the dutiful daughter, the quiet one who's grateful for anything, even when it's not what she wants or deserves. I'll smile, I'll nod, and I'll say thank you. But every year, it cuts deeper. Every year I feel the weight of their disregard for me pressing harder and harder on my chest. I've stopped asking for anything. I know better. It's like hoping for a miracle when you know there's no such thing. So, when the wrapping paper is torn off and I see the socks again, I'll feign surprise. I'll feign joy, like I always do. But I'll hold my breath, waiting for the moment to pass. I'm not sure why it still gets to me. I should be used to it by now. After all, it's been happening for years. Since I was little, really. My brother and I, we've never been treated the same. I used to think it was because he was the firstborn, or because he was just naturally more, well, likable than I am. But over time, it's become clear that it's something deeper. Something I can't explain. I glance at Josh, who's texting someone now, his face lit up by the glow of his phone screen. I wonder if he even knows. Does he even see how much I've changed since we were younger? Does he notice the distance I've put between us? He's never been aware of my need for validation, for recognition, or maybe he just doesn't care. I used to try. God, I tried. I worked harder than anyone, hoping they'd notice me too. I studied, I excelled, I did everything I thought they wanted me to do, and still, it was never enough. Josh could be as lazy as he wanted, could mess up time and again, and yet, he'd always get the praise. He'd always get the reward. I started to wonder if it was a game to them. Who could they push further? Who would keep up this charade the longest? The question's been haunting me for a while now. How long do I keep playing along? I glance at the clock. Midnight's approaching. There's still time before the official chaos of Christmas morning kicks in. But for me, this Christmas already feels like the last. I don't know why, but something in me is different this year. I can't shake the feeling that it's time to stop pretending. Everything all right? My mom's voice cuts through the haze of my thoughts. She's looking at me, expecting me to say something. Yeah, just tired, I lie, forcing a smile. She doesn't buy it, but she doesn't press. It's easier that way. Josh, blissfully unaware of anything, cracks another joke and they all laugh. I can't help but feel like an outsider in my own family, as if I'm watching them from some other place, some other reality. But I don't belong to that reality anymore. This year, I'm done with it. I don't know exactly what that means yet, but I'm going to find out. And for once, I won't be the one to let it slide. The night passes slowly, stretched thin by the weight of unspoken words and old traditions. The clock ticks over to midnight, and the first thing that hits me is the smell of turkey and cinnamon. Christmas has arrived in full force, and despite myself, there's still that small, childish part of me that wonders if anything will change. Maybe, just maybe, they'll surprise me this year. Maybe they'll finally see me as something more. then the quiet, dutiful daughter. But I already know the answer before I even look under the tree. I already know what will happen. "All right, kids," Dad says, his voice full of that familiar cheer that he only seems to have on Christmas morning. "Let's see who's been naughty or nice." Josh smirks, leaning back in his chair, still texting away on his phone. My mom is already rummaging through the pile of gifts, eager to start passing them out. It's routine, practiced, mechanical. It's like this every year. Same game, same script. I can feel my pulse pick up just a little bit as she hands me the first gift. It's small, wrapped in that generic paper with gold stars that's been collecting dust in the cupboard for the last 3 years. I force myself to smile as I unwrap it, the paper crinkling under my fingertips. And then I see it. Socks. Just like every year. Gray, plain, uncomfortable. I hold them up with a smile, a fake one, the kind I've perfected over the years. "Thanks, Mum," I say, my voice even, as if it doesn't feel like a knife to the chest. I don't know if they notice the emptiness in my tone. I don't know if they care. "Thought you might need a fresh pair for all that running around you do," Mum says, her smile genuine, oblivious. She doesn't know how badly it stings. She doesn't understand why it hurts me year after year. "Yeah, thanks," I mutter again, still clutching the gift as if it's the most meaningful thing I've ever received. I try not to think about how long I've been holding onto the hope that this year would be different, that this year would be the year they'd finally see me. Then Josh's turn comes, and I watch with practiced indifference as he tears open his gift, a brand new set of wireless earbuds, a shiny new toy. He grins, holding them up for the room to see, and they all react as if it's the most exciting thing they've seen all day. "Nice," Dad exclaims. "That should last you ages. You've been wanting those for months." Josh beams. "Yeah, I've been looking at them for a while." He gives Mum a quick kiss on the cheek. "Thanks, Mum." She beams back at him, and I feel something inside me snap. I'm not proud of it, but I can't help it. The resentment bubbles up, sharp and bitter, threatening to spill over. I don't get it. I really don't. I've worked hard, kept my head down, done everything they ever asked of me. And yet, here we are again. This cycle. The same cycle that I've been stuck in for far too long. I'm so tired of this. Tired of being invisible. Tired of being the afterthought. The one who gets socks when she's given nothing more than a shadow of attention. "I'll grab a drink," I announce, standing up abruptly. The smile is gone now. It's replaced by something colder. I don't care what they think anymore. "All right, love," Mum says absent-mindedly. She's already chatting with Josh about something, her attention back on him, of course. It's always back on him. I walk into the kitchen, trying to steady my breath. I grab a bottle of wine from the fridge, pulling the cork out with shaky fingers. I pour myself a glass and take a long sip, trying to drown the anger rising in me. But it's not enough. It never will be. There's a tightness in my chest, a knot I can't untangle. The ache has always been there, but tonight it feels sharper. I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending. It's not even about the gifts anymore. It's not about the socks. It's about something deeper, something I can't explain. It's about the years I've spent wishing I mattered, wishing I was seen, only to be told in the smallest ways that I don't. I turn my back to the kitchen counter, staring out the window at the snow falling gently outside. It's a beautiful sight, but it doesn't bring me peace. I'm not sure peace is something I'll ever find here, in this house, with these people. My phone buzzes in my pocket, pulling me from my thoughts. I pull it out and glance at the screen. A message from a friend, wishing me a Merry Christmas. For a second, I want to text back, tell them I'm fine, that everything's okay. But I can't bring myself to lie anymore. Not today. Instead, I type something else. Something real. This is the last Christmas I'll let them treat me like this. I hit send, the words feeling heavy as they leave my fingertips. And for the first time in a long time, I feel a flicker of something in my chest. It's not hope exactly. It's more like a promise to myself. A promise that this year, Something's going to change. It has to. I take another sip of wine, feeling the warmth spread through me. Maybe I'm finally ready to do something about it. The rest of the morning slips by in a blur of forced laughter and polite conversation. Mom insists on making bacon sandwiches for everyone, and Dad chats on about something to do with work, while Josh scrolls through his phone, only half paying attention. It's also typical. So easy. And I'm stuck. Like always, caught between the weight of my own expectations and the hollow reality of the life they've built for me. I watch them interact with a quiet kind of detachment, trying to find the words to explain what I've been feeling for so long. But I know there's no point in saying anything. I've tried before. I've tried, and every time, it's as if I'm invisible. I can't fight against the wall they've built around themselves. The thing is, it's not just the gifts. Not really. The socks, the way Mom wraps them so cheerfully as if they're the greatest gift I could ask for, it's a symbol of something much bigger, a symbol of how little they see me, how little they know me. They see Josh with his flashy toys and constant need for attention, and they lavish him with what he wants. Me? I'm the one who's always fine, the one who's always okay, the one they don't have to worry about. But I've spent too many years being fine, too many years being the background. And the truth is, I'm not fine. I'm done pretending I am. I finish the last of my wine and push the glass aside, feeling the steady pulse of determination starting to hum in my veins. The decision has been made. There's no going back now. I glance at the clock on the wall. It's nearly time to get dressed for the family dinner. Mom will be busy in the kitchen, Dad will be watching the football, and Josh will be glued to his phone, probably making plans with his mates. No one will even notice I'm gone. I know what I have to do. I stand up from the kitchen table, my hands trembling, but only just. The wine, the nerves, the anger, everything feels like it's building inside me, pushing me towards the edge. I don't want to be this person anymore, the one who sits in the corner and smiles when everything hurts. The one who takes whatever scraps they throw my way. I grab my phone from the counter, scrolling through my photos until I find the one I want. It's a picture of my new home, the one I've worked so hard for. The place I finally found after years of pushing, scraping, and fighting for something of my own. I feel the pride surge in me again. The same feeling I had when I first walked through the door of that flat, feeling the weight of independence settle in my chest. I take a deep breath and hit print. I'll need it to be perfect. I won't settle for anything less than that. As the photo prints, I can hear Mom and Dad's voices drifting in from the other room, muffled but unmistakable. The familiar rhythm of their conversation, the quiet hum of the holiday morning. And for a second, I almost hesitate. Almost. But then I remember the socks, and Josh's smile, and the way they've never truly seen me. I can't keep living like this. I'm not going to. The printer whirs to life, and I take the photo, running my fingers over the glossy surface. It's a moment I'll never forget. The sense of accomplishment, of owning something that's finally mine. I grab the frame from the shelf, one I've been saving for a special occasion. This is the moment. This is the occasion. I glance at the note I've written, the words scrawled hastily but clearly. This is the last Christmas you'll ignore me. It feels final. It feels like something I've needed to say for years. A release. A breath. Of fresh air after suffocating under the weight of their indifference. I step back and look at the photo one last time before carefully sliding it into the frame. My hands are steady now. Calm. There's no going back from this. As I make my way to the living room, my heart pounds in my chest. I've done it. I finally made the decision. Mom looks up from her wrapping as I step into the room, holding the framed photo carefully in both hands. "Love, what's this?" she asks, her voice light, a little confused. "This," I say, my voice surprisingly clear, "is my gift to you." There's a moment of silence, just a beat, and then the words spill out before I can stop them. "I'm done, Mum. I'm done pretending to be okay with being invisible." She stares at me, blinking, and for once I'm not worried about how she'll react. I'm not concerned with whether or not she'll understand. For the first time, I don't care. I place the framed photo on the table in front of her, the note carefully tucked underneath. I walk out of the room, not looking back. Not this time, not ever again. I can feel the weight lifting from my shoulders as I head towards the door. It's done. It's really done. And for the first time, I can breathe. I can't quite explain how it feels to leave the house, to step outside and close the door behind me. It's like the weight of years of quiet resentment, of unspoken words, and hidden frustration has finally been lifted off my chest. But at the same time, there's something unsettling about it, something raw. I've never been the kind of person to make scenes, to make waves, to stir up trouble. I've always been the one to keep my head down and let things pass. Even when they were hurting me, I just took it, swallowed it whole, and pretended it didn't matter. Now, though, it matters. I walk down the driveway, the cold air sharp against my skin, and I don't look back. Not once. It's not about escaping, though maybe in some ways it is, but about taking the first step towards something real, towards something I can control. My phone buzzes in my pocket, and I pull it out without thinking. It's a message from Josh. I almost don't want to open it. Almost. Josh. What's going on? Mom says you're upset. What happened? I hesitate for a moment, my finger hovering over the screen. I could just ignore it. I could delete the message and keep moving forward. But I don't. Instead, I start typing, each word feeling like it takes a lifetime to write. Me. I'm done. I'm not playing this game anymore. You and Mom can keep pretending everything's fine, but I'm done pretending. I hit send before I can talk myself out of it. I can't stop now. I can't let myself go back. The reply comes quicker than I expect. Josh, what the hell are you talking about? You're being dramatic. Just come home, all right? I want to throw my phone across the street. I want to scream, to throw my hands up, and give in to the urge to just leave everything behind. But I don't. I stand there, letting the silence wash over me. The thing is, I've always known that Josh doesn't understand. He doesn't get what it's like to be invisible, to be ignored, to be the afterthought in a family where everything revolves around him. He's always been the golden child, the one who gets what he wants without ever having to work for it. And maybe that's why I've been so quiet for so long, because it's easier to let him have his place in the sun while I hide in the shadows. But I can't do that anymore. I can't keep letting him play the victim while I keep swallowing my own hurt. The phone buzzes again. Josh. Fine. Whatever. But don't say I didn't try. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding and slip my phone back into my pocket. He's not the one I need to be worried about right now. He's never been the one I needed. It's Mom and Dad, the ones who've never really seen me, never really cared to. I keep walking, the cold air sharp against my skin, and I try to ignore the guilt gnawing at my stomach. It's the same guilt I've always felt whenever I've stood up for myself, the same guilt I've been carrying for years. But this time, it's different. This time, I'm not backing down. I pull out the key to my flat and unlock the door, stepping inside. The warmth hits me almost immediately, and for a moment, I just stand there, breathing it in. I look around at the empty space, at the walls I've filled with things I've picked out myself, at the shelves stacked with books and trinkets that mean something to me. This place is mine. It's the one thing I've done for myself, and it feels good to finally have something that's just mine. But still, there's the gnawing sense of what's been left behind. The family I'm supposed to care about, the people who should, have been there for me. I sit down on the couch and stare at the photo of the house, still propped up on the table. I think about how Mom looked at it earlier, her eyes wide with confusion. I think about how Dad barely glanced at it, as if it didn't even matter. I shake my head, trying to push the thoughts away. I don't want to go back to that place. I don't want to be the person who keeps trying, who keeps giving, and never gets anything in return. I pick up my phone again, staring at Josh's messages. I don't know why I'm still trying. I don't know why I'm still holding on to this thin thread of hope that one day they'll see me for who I really am. But I know one thing. I'm not going to wait for them to notice anymore. I've been invisible for long enough. And maybe, just maybe, this year, they'll finally see me. I spent most of the night staring at the framed photo of my new home. It's strange how something so simple, a photo of a house, a place, can carry so much weight. But there it was, sitting on the table in front of me, a symbol of everything that had happened and everything that had been left unsaid. I think about how my parents would have reacted to it, the way they would have shrugged it off, or worse, pretended like it didn't even matter. But it matters. I pour myself a cup of tea, the steam rising in the dimly lit room. The silence around me feels almost unbearable, but it's the silence I've chosen. It's the silence I've needed for so long, and I can't help but wonder if it's the silence that will finally get their attention. I've spent my entire life trying to fit into a space I don't belong in, trying to live up to expectations that were never mine to meet. And now I'm done. The doorbell rings, pulling me from my thoughts. My heart skips a beat, and for a moment, I wonder if it's them. If it's Mom and Dad showing up unannounced, like they always do. I didn't tell them where I'd be. I didn't give them the chance to come looking for me. But still, part of me expects them to show up. They always do. They never truly let go, not in the way they should have. I stand, up, smoothing my hands down the sides of my jeans before walking over to the door. My stomach twists with nerves, and I take a deep breath before I open it. It's Josh. He's standing there, his hands shoved deep into the pockets of his coat, his expression a mixture of annoyance and concern. "Can we talk?" he asks, his voice tight. I just stare at him for a moment, unsure of what to say. Part of me wants to slam the door in his face and go back to pretending he doesn't exist. But another part of me knows this is inevitable. It's the conversation I've been avoiding, the one I've been dreading. "You came all the way here to talk?" I ask, my voice colder than I intended. Josh shifts his weight, clearly uncomfortable. Mom's freaking out. She's asking why you're not coming back, and she doesn't understand what happened. I told her you're just being dramatic, but I cut him off before he can finish. "Dramatic?" I scoff. "You think I'm being dramatic?" I take a step back, feeling the rush of anger rising in my chest. "You don't get it, Josh. You never have. You and Mom always act like I'm just some side character in your little family drama. You've never cared about what I've wanted, never cared about what I needed." Josh frowns, confusion clouding his features. "That's not true," he says, his voice more defensive now. "Mom and Dad..." "No, Josh, don't," I cut in, my voice shaking slightly. "Don't act like you know what I've been through. You have everything handed to you on a silver platter, and I'm supposed to sit back and watch? Every Christmas, it's the same thing. You get the latest gadgets, all the money you could ever need, and I get socks. Socks, Josh, just socks." Josh opens his mouth to speak, but I hold up my hand. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any more excuses. Not from him, not from anyone. I've had enough, and I'm not going back. Not to that house, not to that life. I say, my voice quiet but firm. I'm done trying to fit into a place that doesn't want me. Josh looks at me, his expression softening. "You're being stubborn," he says quietly. "You know that, right?" I shake my head, the anger inside me dissolving into something deeper, something sadder. "Maybe I am," I whisper. "But I have to be, Josh. I have to be stubborn. For myself. For once, I need to make a choice that's for me. Not for Mom, not for Dad, for me." There's a long pause, and for a moment, neither of us says anything. I see the look in his eyes, the confusion, the frustration, maybe even a little bit of hurt, and I know he doesn't understand. He probably never will. But that's not my problem anymore. Josh shifts his weight again, his gaze flicking toward the photo of the house sitting on the table behind me. He seems to hesitate for a moment, then speaks again, softer this time. "Mom and Dad don't know how to deal with this. They're worried about you." I look down at the floor for a moment, biting my lip. "Let them be worried," I finally say. "They'll figure it out. but I'm not going to be the person who keeps bending to their will, just so they don't feel uncomfortable. Josh doesn't say anything for a long while. He looks like he wants to argue, but instead, he just stands there, his eyes searching mine, probably hoping I'll change my mind. I won't. Eventually, he sighs and looks away. I just thought I should come here and try to talk to you. I don't want you to feel like you're completely on your own. For a moment, I wonder if he means it. Wonder if maybe, just maybe, he's starting to understand. But then I realize that understanding isn't enough. Not anymore. I'm not on my own, Josh, I say, my voice steady. I have myself, and that's enough. With that, I step back from the door, closing it gently behind me, the weight of everything sinking into my chest once more. This is it. There's no turning back. I stand in front of the door for a moment, my hand still on the knob, my heart still pounding. It's strange how quickly the adrenaline fades after a confrontation. One moment, I'm consumed by anger, by the need to make him understand. And then, just like that, the rush is gone, leaving nothing but the quiet aftermath. I lean against the door, closing my eyes and exhaling deeply. I shouldn't have opened the door. I should have just stayed in here, alone, and let him figure it out for himself. But it's too late for that. I've let him in, and now the reality of what I've just said lingers in the air between us, heavy and uncomfortable. I can hear him shifting on the other side of the door, probably turning to leave. And part of me wants to call him back, to tell him I didn't mean it, didn't mean that I was done, that I was leaving it all behind. But that part of me is a ghost, a shadow of the person I used to be, the one who never had the courage to stand up for herself. Not anymore. I hear the soft sound of footsteps receding, and I close my eyes for a moment, trying to push away the twinge of guilt that rises. I can't be sorry for this. I can't. I need to keep moving forward. And if that means cutting ties with people who don't understand me, then so be it. I make my way back to the kitchen, the mug still sitting on the counter where I left it. It's cold now, but I don't bother reheating it. Instead, I stare at the mug for a while, my reflection barely visible in the darkened surface. I think about Christmas, about the years of those same dull socks, the ones with patterns I never liked, the ones that always seemed so impersonal, like an afterthought. I can't remember a single year where I didn't open those socks with a smile on my face and a sinking feeling in my chest. Every year, it was the same routine. And every year, it hurt just a little more. I pick up the mug and take a sip, the bitterness of the cold tea matching the bitter taste in my mouth. I should have stopped pretending. I should have stopped playing along with their little game, but I didn't. I always tried to convince myself that one year, maybe things would be different. Maybe they'd see me, really see me. But they never did. I placed the mug back down, the sound of it against the counter too loud in the quiet room. I don't know what's worse, the pain of realizing they never saw me, or the hurt of knowing I was willing to keep pretending for so long. That's what I've done, isn't it? I've been pretending all these years, pretending that the socks didn't matter, pretending that the lack of attention didn't sting, pretending that I was okay with being invisible. The truth is, I never was okay with it, and I don't know why I waited so long to do something about it. I let my fingers trace the edges of the photo frame again. My new home, the place I've built for myself, away from them, away from the constant weight of their expectations. For the first time in my life, I feel a sense of peace when I think about it. The sound of the phone vibrating on the table pulls me from my thoughts, and I reach for it, already knowing who it is before I even look at the screen. Mum? I don't answer it. I don't even think twice about it. The last thing I need right now is her voice, filled with that hollow concern, asking me why I'm not coming back, why I'm being so difficult. The last thing I need is for her to remind me, again, of how little she understands me. The bone buzzes again, and then, finally, it stops. The silence returns, and with it, a strange sense of finality. I can't go back. I can't undo the things I've said or done. But I don't want to. I turn the photo frame around, setting it face, down on the counter. The weight of that image is too much for me to carry right now. It's a reminder of everything I've walked away from, but also everything I've gained. I've built something new, something for me, and that's enough. I can hear the muffled sound of footsteps again, but this time, I don't react. It's not Josh. It's not anyone who matters. It's just the sound of the world moving on without me, and for once, I'm okay with that. I stand there in the silence for a long while, my hands resting against the cool countertop, and for the first time in a long time, I allow myself to feel something other than anger. I feel relief. This is the moment, the one I've been waiting for. It's the moment where everything changes. And I'm ready for it. I'm not sure how much time has passed since the last call from Mum. It could have been an hour or just 5 minutes. Time seems to stretch differently when you're alone, when everything is sinking in. I'm standing in the middle of my kitchen, staring at the phone, and still, I haven't answered it. I know what'll happen if I do. She'll say all the things she always says when I've pulled away, when I've distanced myself from them. There'll be guilt. There'll be the constant tugging at my conscience, the endless loop of her asking me why I can't just be like my brother, why I can't be more like them, more like the perfect children they raised. But I'm not perfect, and I don't want to be. I finally swipe the phone up, unlocking it, but instead of calling her back, I press the little icon that says Messages. I start typing out something to Josh, but then I stop. What do I even say to him right now? It feels almost absurd to reach out to him after everything that's just happened, but at the same time, I feel like I should. Like, maybe he'll understand. I delete the message and, without thinking, hit send on something simpler. I'm done pretending. I don't know what response I expect. Maybe nothing at all. Maybe something that confirms what I've always feared, that I've been wasting my time trying to get through to a man who'll never understand me. But I send it anyway. It's as much for me as it is for him. The phone buzzes. It's a reply. It's short, too short. Okay, that's it. I stare at the screen, feeling this strange mixture of anger and sadness bubbling up inside me. How could he respond like that? How could he just be okay with me walking away? Doesn't he care? Doesn't he even have anything to say? But maybe that's just it. Maybe he does care, and maybe, deep down, he knows this is how it has to be. Maybe he knows that our family is too broken, too fragmented, and that no amount of pretending can fix it. I want to be angry. I want to scream at him through this screen, demand more from him. But instead, I set the phone down with a heavy sigh, feeling the weight of everything. The years of trying to please, trying to fit into a mold I was never meant to, pressing down on me. I walk back to the living room, my feet moving almost, of their own accord. I don't know what I'm expecting to find there. Maybe I'm looking for some sense of validation, some tangible proof that this is all worth it, that the loneliness I feel now is temporary, that in the end, I'll be better for it. I glance at the empty walls of my new place, my new life. The furniture is minimal but comfortable. Everything I've chosen is exactly what I want. There's no clutter, no unnecessary items. It's clean, ordered, everything in its place. I sit down on the couch, my eyes lingering on the framed photo again, the one I left for them. It's sitting on the counter in the kitchen now, face down. Maybe that's my way of letting go of the past, of accepting that I can never go back to the way things were. But part of me wonders if I'm just trying to justify the pain. Maybe this isn't about them at all. Maybe it's about me, and the way I've convinced myself for so long that I had to keep fighting for their approval, for their love. I reach over to the coffee table, picking up the small stack of envelopes. I've been meaning to sort through. I haven't had the energy to open most of them, but today, they're a welcome distraction. I tear into one, not even glancing at the return address, and pull out the letter inside. It's from an old friend, someone I haven't spoken to in years. It's a simple, heartfelt note, asking me how I've been, telling me they've been thinking about me. There's a faint sense of nostalgia that stirs inside me as I read it, but it's not the same as the guilt that I've felt about my family. This feels different. It feels like someone actually sees me, not just the version of me they expect me to be. The words "thinking about you" stick with me long after I finish reading. For a moment, I feel a shift inside me. Maybe it's the beginning of something new, something I've been searching for all along. Maybe I've been so focused on what I don't have, approval, validation, attention, that I've forgotten the importance of the quiet connections, the ones that don't demand anything in return. Maybe that's what this is all about. I put the letter back in its envelope and set it aside. The phone buzzes again, but this time I don't rush to pick it up. Instead, I sit back on the couch, letting the silence settle around me. This is my moment of clarity, the moment where I stop apologizing for being who I am, the moment where I let go of the need to be anyone other than myself. I let out a long breath, and for the first time today, I feel something close to peace. I am done pretending, and I'm okay with that. I hadn't expected it to feel like this quiet, almost calm. I thought when I finally decided to sever the ties, it would be loud. Maybe there would be shouting, or at least a sense of relief. But instead, I'm sitting here, alone in my living room, feeling like I've just made the quietest, most significant decision of my life. It's as if the weight of all those years, the years of disappointment, of playing a part I never chose, has finally been lifted. The silence around me is no longer suffocating. It's just space. Space to breathe, to think, and for the first time, space to be myself. I stand up and walk over to the window. It's still early morning, and the light coming through is soft, muted. Like everything in the world is still asleep, waiting for me to make the next move. For a moment, I close my eyes, just letting the cool air filter through the glass, letting the stillness seep into me. When I open them again, my eyes are drawn to the picture on the mantelpiece, the framed photo of my new home. I hadn't thought of it as a symbol before, but now it feels like one. The moment I set foot in this apartment, something shifted. It wasn't just a change of scenery. It was a shift in me, a recognition that I could carve out a space for myself that wasn't defined by anyone else's expectations. I didn't have to apologize for what I wanted anymore. I walk over to the mantel and pick up the photo, tracing the edges of the frame with my fingers. It's a simple picture. The view from my balcony, the city stretching out below me, the horizon blending into the sky. I take a deep breath. There's no going back now. For a split second, I consider calling them again, trying to explain, trying to make them understand why I couldn't do it anymore. But then, I remember the conversations that always end in frustration, the endless justifications I've given for why I was never enough. I know I can't change them. I can't keep waiting for something that isn't coming. The phone buzzes again. I glance at it. But this time, I don't even bother looking to see who it is. I know. I can guess. Instead, I put the photo back down and sit on the couch again, picking up the envelope I had set aside earlier. It's a strange feeling, almost like I'm moving on from everything that held me back. My mind starts to wander, and for the first time in a long time, I feel a little bit of excitement, a spark of possibility. I could finally make the life I want, a life without all the guilt, without the constant feeling that I'm never doing enough to earn their love. I could be someone else entirely, maybe not someone new, but someone truer, someone who actually knows what they want and isn't afraid to take it. I glance back at the framed photo again. There's something comforting about the simplicity of it, the way it captures just a moment in time. Nothing more, nothing less. It reminds me of why I'm doing this, why I'm not answering the phone, not returning the messages, not trying to fix something that was never really broken, just misunderstood. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about freeing myself from the weight of their expectations. I'm not mad anymore. I'm just done. My thoughts are interrupted when the phone buzzes again, but this time I don't even look. Instead, I walk over to the table where the framed photo is sitting, And for the first time in what feels like forever, I smile. It's a small thing, but it's mine. And for once, that feels enough. I don't need their approval. I don't need them to understand. I have what I need right here. And that's all I need. For the first time in my life, I think I've finally found what it means to be free. The next few days pass in a blur. There's a strange sense of peace that settles over me, something I can't quite explain, like the air has shifted in some subtle way and I'm breathing easier now. At first, I'm almost waiting for the other shoe to drop, but nothing happens. The phone stays silent, no more messages, no more calls. I tell myself that it's for the best. This is what I wanted, a break, a step away from the noise, from the constant pressure to be someone I'm not. And yet, there's a small part of me that can't help but feel a nagging sense of unease. Did I make the right choice? Is this really the best thing for me? Or have I just given up? It's not like I expected them to change overnight, but part of me always thought that one day they'd finally see me, really see me. And that's the hardest thing to let go of. That little sliver of hope that one day they'd realize how much I needed them to stop seeing me as the disappointment, the one who didn't fit the mold. But as the days drag on, that hope starts to wither, like a plant starved of sunlight. And for the first time in years, I think I'm okay with it. On the 5th day, I get a call. It's my mother. I don't pick up. I don't even consider it. Not because I'm angry, not because I want to keep the distance, but because I know nothing's going to change. This isn't some breakthrough moment where we'll have a heart-to-heart and everything. We'll magically be okay. I sit by the window, the phone buzzing softly beside me, its ringtone echoing in the quiet of the room. I don't want to be cold. I don't want to shut them out completely. But the truth is, I've spent my whole life trying to win their approval, trying to fit into the box they built for me. And somewhere along the way, I lost myself. The phone buzzes again, and for a moment, I almost cave. I think about picking it up, about maybe listening, but the moment passes, and I don't. A few more hours go by, and then a message. I've been trying to reach you. It starts. We need to talk. Please call me. I stare at the message for a while. I feel the pull of guilt, the old familiar tug in my chest, urging me to pick up and explain. But then I stop. I think about what I've just started to build here. This life that's mine. And I remember what I told myself. I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this for me. I set the phone aside and turn my attention back to the view outside the window, the world bustling below. It's strange, really. The absence of them feels like a void. But it's not an empty one. It's a space where I can finally breathe, finally begin to grow. I don't have to keep making excuses for why I'm not enough, why I can't live up to their expectations. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. The phone buzzes again, and this time, I don't look at it. I've made my decision. I've walked away. And for the first time, I think I understand what it means to choose myself. They'll never get it. And that's okay. The next few days slip by quietly. I've learned not to check my phone too often, not to let the anxiety take root. The silence from my family is louder than any argument could ever be. It's a reminder that I made the choice, that I took a stand. But somehow, it still doesn't feel like the victory I thought it would be. I'm not sure what I expected. Maybe I thought I'd feel liberated, unburdened by the weight of their expectations. Maybe I thought I'd suddenly understand my own worth, the way people say you should. But the truth is, I still feel a little empty. Not because I regret my decision, but because I'm starting to realize just how long I've been drowning in that emptiness. I spend most of my time in the apartment, moving between the kitchen and the living room, never really doing anything, just existing in the space. I go for walks sometimes, but I'm never quite sure where I'm going. My mind drifts to thoughts of them, of how they always made me feel less than my brother, less than their ideal daughter, less than what they expected. I try not to let the anger rise again. It's exhausting, but it comes in waves. Sometimes it's a quiet swell, and I can push it down without much effort. Other times it crashes over me, and I feel it deep in my chest. The hurt, the years of trying and never quite measuring up. There's a part of me, though, that wants to reach out. I know that if I called, if I texted, they'd probably respond. They might even apologize, but I don't think it would matter. I don't think it would change anything. And that's the hardest part. I've always been the one to bend, to make excuses, to smooth over the cracks and pretend everything's fine. But now I'm starting to realize that the cracks can't be fixed with just a little bit of effort. They've been there too long. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to let them stay broken. I take a deep breath and walk over to the bookshelf. It's quiet here, peaceful even. I haven't felt this much at ease in years, not since I was a child, before the pressure of being what they wanted consumed me. I pull out one of the books I've been meaning to read for months. As I open it, I feel a small sense of pride, something soft, like the feeling of a weight finally being lifted. It's not much, it's just a book. But for some reason, it feels like progress. It feels like me. Later that evening, I finally break. Not in the way I thought I would, but enough to feel something. I grab my phone, hold it in my hand, and stare at it for a long moment. The message from my mother is still there. I almost text back. Almost. But then I stop. Instead, I put the phone down, face down this time, and close my eyes. The truth is, I'm done trying to convince them. I don't need their approval to know that I've done what's best for me. I've taken a step forward, away from the life I thought I wanted. The life they wanted for me. And even though it's terrifying and uncertain, it's mine. And for once, I think I'm starting to like the sound of that. No more waiting. No more pretending. This is my life, and I'm finally learning to live it. Days slip into weeks, and life settles into a rhythm that's both foreign and strangely comforting. I wake up in the mornings without that gnawing feeling of disappointment waiting for me. My phone is still full of unread messages, but I'm learning to leave them there. I can't force myself to care about their guilt, their expectations, their well-meaning but misguided attempts to fix me. The truth is, I feel lighter now. It's like I've been walking with a weight I didn't even realize I was carrying. But it's gone now, or at least, it's lighter. I still think about them, still feel the sting of their absence, but I'm learning to hold the space between us, without letting it pull me down. I go through the motions of my day. Work, dinner, quiet evenings in the apartment. It's not perfect, but it's mine. And that, in itself, is a small victory. There's a certain peace that comes with being alone. At least, a peace that comes after the storm. It's quiet in the apartment now, without the voices, without the noise of everyone else's expectations. I'm beginning to carve out a space that feels like me, not like what they've always wanted me to be. I've started to decorate, slowly. The walls are still bare, but they're no longer empty. A few plants, a couple of framed prints, a soft throw on the couch. Small things that make it feel like home. But then there are moments when I catch myself waiting for their call, for their message. It's almost automatic now, this sense of wanting to fix things, to somehow make it right. I want to reach out, to apologize for everything that's been left unsaid. But I stop myself. I'm not sorry, not anymore. What I'm realizing is that there's nothing to fix. What happened, happened. And as much as it hurts, I can't undo it. I can't go back to being the person they wanted me to be. I've made my peace with that. Or at least, I'm trying to. But I do miss them. It's hard not to. Even now, even after everything, I still love them. Sometimes, when I'm sitting in the quiet of the apartment, I wonder if they miss me too. If they think about me at all. I know I shouldn't care, but it's hard not to. It's like standing on the edge of something, watching them from a distance. and realizing that I'll never be able to reach them the way I did before. There's a kind of sadness in that, a kind of grief that I can't quite explain. But then there's the other side of it, the side where I feel free from their expectations, free from their judgments, free from the weight of always trying to be something I'm not. I realize, sitting here in the quiet, that I don't need their approval anymore. Not in the way I used to. It's a strange feeling, this quiet freedom. It's almost as though I'm waiting for something else to come along, something bigger, something that will fill this space I've carved out for myself. But for now, I'm okay with the stillness. I'm okay with being alone in this new life I'm building. It's not perfect. It's not what I thought it would be. But it's mine, and right now, that's all I need. It comes when I least expect it. The phone buzzes on the table. It's bright, screen flashing with a name I've learned to ignore. But this time, it's different. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the quiet, or maybe it's the way the shadows fall across the room, but something tells me this is a moment I can't just let slip by. I hesitate for a moment, my thumb hovering over the screen. For a second, I think about letting it go to voicemail, letting the silence continue between us. But then I remember the photo on the wall, the note tucked in the frame. This is the last Christmas you'll ignore me. The words feel like a promise now, a vow I've made to myself. If I pick up that phone, I'm not going back. I swipe across the screen. Hello? There's a long pause on the other end. My stomach tightens. My heart picks up its pace. "It's Mum," she says, her voice sounding smaller than I remember. "Mum," I reply, not sure what to say. The air between us feels thick, like something unsaid is hanging in the space. "What's going on?" There's another pause. I hear the familiar background noise of the kitchen, the clink of dishes, the hum of a washing machine. It all feels so distant now, like I'm hearing someone else's life instead of my own. I just wanted to check in. You've been on my mind." I laugh, but it's bitter. Not the sound of joy I would have once shared with her. "Really? Funny, I haven't exactly felt you checking in before." Her silence says more than her words ever could. I don't need her to explain herself. I've known this dance for too long. The guilt, the half-hearted apologies, the promises that never quite reach the point of action. I've heard it all before. "I didn't mean it like that," she says, her voice cracking. "I know things have been difficult. I'm sorry. It's Dad." He's standing there, his face lined with years of stress and frustration, but there's something else in his eyes. I've seen it before, but I can't quite place it. It's not the usual paternal concern. No, it's something else, something deeper. Maybe regret, maybe guilt, or maybe it's just the weight of everything that's been left unsaid between us. "Merry Christmas, sweetheart," he says quietly. His voice is soft, almost hesitant, as if he's not sure whether this visit is welcome. I stare at him for a moment, feeling the familiar tug of emotion in my chest. He's my dad, after all. But he's also the one who's always stood on the sidelines, watching while Mum and my brother took center stage. He's the one who never saw how much I needed him, how much I wanted to be seen by him. "Merry Christmas, Dad," I reply, my voice steady, despite the knots in my stomach. I don't let him see the conflict swirling inside me. I don't want to break. Not now. He steps inside, and I find myself stepping back to let him in. It's automatic, almost like I'm playing the part of the dutiful daughter. But I don't feel it. Not really. He looks around the room, taking in the simple decorations, the quietness of the space. His eyes linger on the framed photo on the mantel. My new home, the one I've been so proud of. The one that seems to say more about me than anything else ever has. "This place looks nice," he says, nodding slowly. "You've done well for yourself." "Thanks," I say, feeling a sudden pang of sadness. It's not a compliment I've ever craved. It's not the kind of praise I've longed for from him, but it's the kind I'll get, and I know better than to ask for more. There's an uncomfortable pause between us, the silence stretching longer than either of us seems prepared to endure. I know things have been difficult, he starts, his voice unsure. I'm sorry, darling, I should have been there more. His words hang in the air, tentative and unpracticed, like they've been rehearsed 1,000 times but never quite made it past his lips. And I want to believe him. I want to believe that this apology means something, that it's not just another empty attempt to patch things up without ever truly addressing what's been broken. But I can't. I can't just forgive him for all the years he's been absent, for all the moments I've had to fill in for him when he was nowhere to be found. I don't know if sorry is enough anymore, I say, my voice quieter than I intended. It's been too long, Dad. He looks down at his hands as though searching for something to say, something to fix this. But there's nothing. Nothing that can undo the years of missed opportunities, of silence and distance. I know, he says, his voice heavy with regret. I was wrong, but I'm here now, and I want to make it right, if you'll let me. It's hard not to feel the weight of that last sentence, the uncertainty in his voice, and yet part of me wonders if he really means it, or if this is just another attempt to keep the peace, to smooth over the cracks in our relationship without really mending them. I want to say something, to tell him that it's not enough, that I can't just move past all of this. But I don't. I stay silent because I know there's nothing left to say. Instead, I reach for the framed photo on the mantel. I hold it out to him. Here, I say, my voice steady, but the weight of the words behind it more than I can bear. This is the last Christmas you'll ignore me. His eyes fall on the photo, and for a moment there's nothing but silence between us. But this time, it's different. It's not the silence of avoidance, it's the silence of realization. The silence lingers in the room, stretching between us like an invisible thread, thick and heavy. I watch Dad as he looks at the photo I handed him. His hands tremble slightly as he takes it, and for a second, I wonder if he understands the weight of it. It's not just a picture, it's a symbol of everything I've been trying to escape, everything I've had to do on my own while they ignored me. I wait for him to speak, to say something, anything that acknowledges what's happening right now. But he just stands there, staring at the photo, his face unreadable. His mouth opens once, then closes again. Like the words he wants to say are stuck somewhere in his chest. I can see the conflict in his eyes, the struggle between wanting to make it right and knowing that he's too late. Finally, he sets the photo down carefully on the coffee table, his gaze still lingering on it, as though he's trying to understand what it means. And then slowly, he looks up at me, his face softening, but there's still a certain distance in his eyes. I don't know how to fix this, he admits quietly. I've made so many mistakes. I've let you down. I don't expect you to. Forgive me just like that. I just need you to know I'm trying. I am. I don't know what to say to that. The words are there, but none of them feel right. I don't want empty promises. I don't want him to tell me he's trying when it's been years of trying without anything to show for it. It's not enough anymore. The truth is, I've been carrying this resentment for so long that it's hard to know where to put it now. I don't need you to try, Dad, I say, my voice steady, but the words come out sharper than I intend. I need you to have been there. I needed you to care when I was younger. I needed you to notice when I needed you. And you didn't. He flinches, but I don't take it back. This is what I've been avoiding saying for so long, the anger that's been festering inside me. And now that it's out, I realize how much lighter I feel, even though it's not easy to speak the truth. I'm sorry, he says again, but it sounds more genuine this time, softer. You're right. I should have been there. I nod because it's true. He should have, but I can't keep carrying that weight anymore. I can't keep hoping for something that's never going to happen. For a moment, neither of us speaks. It's as though we've both reached an understanding, an unspoken agreement that there's no going back from this. There's no fixing. The past, no undoing the years of silence, of missed moments. But there's something else in the air now, something that wasn't there before. Maybe it's the first step towards something new, or maybe it's just the final acknowledgement that it's over. I step back and motion to the door. I think it's time for you to go. His eyes flicker with surprise, but he doesn't argue. He nods, slowly, as though he's known this moment was coming. I'll always be here if you change your mind, he says, his voice hoarse. It's a familiar line, one I've heard countless times. But today, it doesn't carry the same weight. It doesn't mean anything anymore. I don't respond. I just watch him as he walks to the door, his steps heavy with the knowledge that this moment has passed, that things between us have shifted in a way that can't be undone. When he opens the door, I feel a sense of finality, like a chapter closing in a book that's been long overdue for an ending. I'm sorry, sweetheart, he says one last time, his voice trailing off as he steps out into the cold. Goodbye, Dad, I reply, my voice steady but distant. It's not that I don't feel anything, it's just that I can't feel much anymore. The door clicks shut behind him, and I stand there for a moment, the weight of the silence settling around me again. It's strange, this emptiness, but for the first time in a long time, it feels like my own. It's a silence I've earned, a silence that's mine to keep. I turn away from the door, looking back at the framed photo on the coffee table. It still feels heavy, but in a different way now. A reminder of the past, yes, but also a symbol of my own escape. I don't need their approval anymore. I don't need their acceptance. For the first time in years, I feel like I'm finally in control. And as I look around my new home, I realize that it's not just a place. It's my declaration. My statement that I'm done waiting for them to see me. I've already seen myself. And that's enough. It's been a few days now, and I still can't quite shake the feeling that something's shifted in the air. The house feels quieter somehow. Maybe it's because I finally spoke, the words I've been holding in for years, or maybe it's because for the first time in forever, I feel like I've cleared a path for myself, like I'm finally breathing. I glance at the framed photo on the mantelpiece. It hasn't moved since Dad left, still sitting there, staring back at me with its unspoken promise. The home I've built, the one that doesn't need anyone's validation to be real. I can't help but smile at that thought, even though it's bittersweet. I didn't get here by asking for permission. I got here because I stopped waiting. There's a strange mix of relief and sadness in the air. I keep telling myself I should feel triumphant, like a weight has been lifted, but it's not as simple as that. It never is. I've spent so many years wanting my parents to see me, to acknowledge me. And now that I've finally made the decision to stop needing that from them, I feel a strange emptiness. Like there's a hole inside me where their approval used to go. I shake my head, pushing those thoughts away. I've made my choice. I've closed that door, and I need to keep walking forward. But then the phone rings. I glance at the screen. It's Mum. I almost don't answer, but there's this tug in my chest, a soft, quiet part of me that wonders if maybe, just maybe, she'll say something different this time. Maybe she'll finally see me. Hello? I answer, my voice steady but guarded. Hi, sweetheart, Mum says, her voice warm, but there's a nervous edge to it. I was thinking about you. How are you? I exhale slowly. I'm fine. How are you? We've been talking, she says, and I know exactly who she means. Dad. We know you're upset, and we understand why. We just want you to know that we love you. We always have. It's the same words, just repackaged. I can hear the guilt in her voice, like she's trying to make up for all the times she wasn't there. But I'm not sure I can accept it anymore. I'm not sure I want to. Mum, I hesitate, feeling the familiar rush of emotions clawing at my chest. I need more than just words. I need actions. I need you to actually be there when I need you, not just when it's convenient for you. There's a long pause on the other end of the line. I can almost hear her thinking, weighing her response. I wonder if she's regretting everything, if she's finally realizing how much she missed. I know, she says softly, and this time, there's a sadness in her voice that I haven't heard before. I should have been better. I'm sorry. We both should have been better. It's a start, I guess, but it's still not enough. It's never been enough. I need time, Mum, I say quietly. I need time to figure out what I want from you, from all of this. I need to heal. I understand, she says, her voice breaking slightly. We'll be here when you're ready, no matter what. I nod, even though she can't see me. Thanks, I say, though it feels like the word is hollow. I don't know if I can ever go back to what we had. We end the call shortly after that, and I sit in the quiet of my living room, the weight of the conversation settling into my bones. It's not what I wanted, but it's a beginning. And maybe that's all I can ask for right now. But even as I try to convince myself that things will get better, I know deep down that something has changed in me. I've crossed a line that I can't uncross. The old me, the one who craved their attention and approval, isn't here anymore. She's been replaced by someone who knows her worth, someone who isn't waiting for validation from anyone. And that's a truth I have to live with. I glance around the room once more, feeling the cool, comforting solitude of the space I've built. It's mine. I've worked for it, and I've earned every inch. And as I look at the photo again, I know that I've already started to let go. Not just of my parents, but of the version of myself that needed them. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I can breathe, and that, in itself, is enough. The year is winding down, and there's a quiet sense of finality in the air. It's New Year's Eve, but I can't bring myself to feel the usual rush of excitement, the kind of energy I once attached to the idea of fresh starts and resolutions. Now, it just feels like another night, another marker in time. I'm sitting on the couch, wrapped in a soft blanket, with a glass of wine in my hand. The TV hums in the background, some random show that I'm not really watching. My phone buzzes on the coffee table, but I ignore it. No more checking for messages or notifications. No more wondering if this time it'll be different. The house feels different tonight. It's not that it's any less comfortable or welcoming, but I sense the space around me has shifted. There's no anxiety lingering in the corners, no thoughts racing about who's missing or who should be here. It's just me. And for once, that's enough. I take a sip of wine and glance at the framed photo on the mantel. It hasn't moved, just as it hasn't moved in days. It still carries that weight, the quiet reminder of what I gave up to get here. But somehow, tonight, it doesn't feel as heavy. It doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like a victory. I don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. I've stopped waiting for their approval, and I've stopped defining myself by their love, or their lack of it. It's a strange kind of freedom, one that doesn't come with fireworks or grand gestures, but with the quiet satisfaction of knowing that I've finally taken control of my life, my choices, my future. Another buzz from my phone. This time, I look at it, half expecting it to be one of those obligatory messages from family offering their Happy New Year wishes. But it's not. It's a text from Sophie, one of the few people who've actually seen me for who I am, not just for who they think I should be. Hey, how are you doing? Thinking of you tonight? You've made it through the toughest part. I smile at the message. Sophie's always had a way of putting things into perspective. And she's right. This year has been one of the toughest, and yet it's also been one of the most transformative. I type back quickly. I'm good, honestly. Thanks for checking in. Here's to new beginnings, even if they don't look the way we thought they would. Sophie's response comes almost immediately. Exactly. I'm so proud of you. You've come so far. I sit with that for a moment, the weight of her words settling in. Maybe I'm not as alone as I feel. Maybe the people who matter most see me, even if I've spent so long doubting it. I stand up and walk over to the window. The city lights are distant and hazy through the mist of early evening. The sound of fireworks can be faintly heard from a few streets over, but the night feels still, peaceful even. I take another sip of wine, savoring the quiet hum of the world outside. This is what it's supposed to feel like. Not a frantic need for change or an overblown celebration, but a calm acceptance. A stillness that says, I'm here. I've arrived. I let the silence stretch on, feeling the weight of everything I've done this year settle into the corners of my mind. It's been hard, but it's been real. And for once, I'm not running from it. I'm not hiding. As the clock ticks closer to midnight, I feel an unexpected sense of peace. This year doesn't need to be anything more than what it is. There's no need for resolutions or declarations. All I need is to keep going, to keep choosing myself. The sound of fireworks erupts just as the clock strikes midnight, and I smile, softly. The year is gone, and in its place is a blank slate. But it doesn't matter, because I already know that I'm enough. I turn away from the window and take a final sip of my wine. Maybe it's the quiet of the night, or maybe it's the fact that I'm finally at peace with myself. But for the first time in a long time, I feel content. The world can wait. I've already found what I need. And that's enough. It's a week after New Year's Eve, and I'm sitting in my new home, the sun filtering through the blinds. The air feels crisp, like the world is holding its breath. In the distance, I hear the hum of traffic, but inside everything is still. It's just me, the soft creak of the floorboards, and the low murmur of the kettle boiling. I haven't heard from them, not since Christmas. And at first, I felt the urge to check my phone constantly, wondering if they'd reach out, some apology, some attempt to make sense of the distance I've created. But now, I can't help but feel relieved that they haven't. The silence is heavier than any words they could say, and somehow that speaks volumes. I walk over to the framed photo, the one I handed them with the note. It's still sitting on the mantelpiece, but I can't say I mind. If anything, it's a reminder of the boundary I've set. It's a part of me that I'm no longer willing to negotiate. I sit down on the couch, letting out a slow breath. This is my space now, my choice, and that's all that matters. The holiday season has come and gone, and for once, I didn't feel like a spectator in my own life. I didn't need to chase anyone's approval, and I didn't need to play the role they wanted me to. I've carved out a life that's mine, and it's more than enough. I think back to Christmas morning, the way they handed me those socks, their smiles so forced, as though they expected me to pretend it was fine. I can still feel the sting of their indifference. But that's over now. I wonder if they've even taken a second to consider what I'm doing, to ask themselves what it means that I walked away from that. But then, I remind myself that it doesn't matter. I don't need their validation. I'm not waiting for them to catch up to me anymore. I'm not waiting for anyone. The kettle whistling pulls me back to the present. I stand up, pour myself a cup of tea, and sit back down on the couch, letting the warmth of the mug seep into my palms. The soft steam curls up toward the ceiling, and for a moment, it's like the world slows down just enough for me to catch my breath. I could call Sophie, or maybe Rachel, or even Jessica. It's not that I'm lonely. I've got people who truly care. But there's something so peaceful about being alone with my thoughts right now, about knowing that I've made it this far. I take a sip of my tea, savoring the taste, and glance once more at the framed photo. Maybe I'll hang it on the wall later, but for now, it sits in its place, a symbol of everything I've built, a reminder that I am worthy of more than they ever gave me. And for the first time in a long time, I don't need them to see me. I don't need them to understand why I left. I don't need them to apologize. I don't even need them to try again. What I need is to keep moving forward, to keep choosing myself in every moment, to keep embracing the space I've created for myself, without guilt, without second guessing. This is who I am now,